In the last 3 years, I have used LinkedIn to land interviews and land jobs at many different companies. And what I want to do in this video is share with you the exact same LinkedIn strategy that I've used to land these interviews and jobs so that you can hopefully replicate it and get some interviews too. Now, I will say that I have used these techniques and this strategy in the consulting and in the sales world, but I'm using the exact same strategy for the tech market. And let me tell you, it is working quite fine. Okay, so far I've been able to network with a lot of recruiters and it has allowed me to have a couple of interviews. So yeah, hopefully you get something out of this video and you can start to implement this strategy to get some interviews as well. Now I'll say something, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you a way to find tech recruiters on LinkedIn in a specific location. This method no one really talks about because it's not something that people normally use. In fact, it's a method that recruiters use to find candidates, but we can reverse engineer the process and use it ourselves to find tech recruiters. So yeah, without further ado, let's actually get into it. Let me grab my pen here and I'm just going to do some annotations on my screen as I go. So I've done a few screenshots of my LinkedIn profile. This is my actual LinkedIn profile as of today. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to have a professional looking headshot of yourself. This cannot be a picture of you at the beach. This cannot be a picture of you in a party or on holidays. This needs to be some photo that you have actually put a little bit of effort into. You need to look nice. You need to look professional. You need to look presentable. Preferably be smiling. A lot of people say that you shouldn't smile in these pictures, but I prefer someone that smiles because it's just more friendly and a little bit more approachable. Second thing that you need to do is you need to have a headline. Okay, you need to have a banner with a headline. And this headline should basically sum up what you do. In my case, is using code to turn challenges into working solutions. This essentially tells a recruiter in 2-3 seconds what you do and why you do it. And if you're transitioning into the tech market like I am, I would write a little sentence down here that states the reason why you're transitioning, or the thing that you did before and the thing that you're doing now. But just to give a little bit of context to your whole transition in the first place. Then you need to obviously have your full name written here. This is a must. Recruiters have to know your name. I would also advise you to verify your identity. This is super important because it tells recruiters, hey, this person is who he says he is. Okay. So you can verify your identity through LinkedIn. It takes, I think, 1 to 2 days. It's not too difficult. You just need to upload an ID or a driver's license, something like that, and they will verify your identity. Now, the next part is super, super important. This bit down here that comes after your name is what you do for work. Like as a professional, who you are. In my case, I'm a full stack developer, so that's exactly what I write in there. And then I write my tech stack. Why? I do this because of a very simple reason. When tech recruiters want to look for a specific role, or recruiters in general, they go to the LinkedIn search bar and search for, let's say, JavaScript developers or React developers. They don't actually bother so much looking at CVs that they have received through a quick application on LinkedIn. They rather go out there and find people that have the skills that they're looking for. So the search is much more targeted on their end, so it's less work on their end as well. So just make it easy for them. State who you are, what you do, and what's your tech stack so that they can find you more easily. All right. So the next thing is the about section. One thing I will say about this section, no one really cares about this, okay? And it's not good for me to say it because I've got a pretty nicely built about section, but no one really cares about this. No one really reads it. If I was you, I would just state who I am, okay, so who you are and what you do. And if you're in tech, just a couple of projects that you've built, some achievements that you have, and a little CTA at the end, okay? But other than that, I wouldn't really care too much about this section. You can even ask AI to write it for you, quite honestly. One thing that I will say is very important about this section is the top skills, because this allows recruiters to find you when they search for a skill on the search bar. These top skills will allow them to find you way more easily. Okay, you can only use up to 5, or you can only choose up to 5, so choose them wisely. Now, the next thing you have to do is be active on LinkedIn. This is a must. You cannot be a passive person on LinkedIn. You have to interact with other people. You have to post stuff about what you do. I'm not talking about posting 5, 6, 7 times a week. If you want to do that, then that is completely fine. But just post about what you do. If you're a React developer, okay, if you're a React developer, just post about React. Post about the use state hook, post about the use effect hook, post about projects that you build in React, post about projects that you've built with AI and React, for example. It doesn't matter what you do, and it doesn't really matter. I'll tell you, I'm not the most popular guy on LinkedIn. Okay, I got 2 likes, 7 likes. On this one, I've got 0 likes. It doesn't matter if people like your posts or not. The whole point about this is that when a recruiter comes into your page, they know exactly who you are, what you do, and with the activity with your posts, you can prove that you know what you say you know. Okay, so it is extremely important to be active on LinkedIn. The next section is the experience. This is super important as well. Now, would I use or would I state on my experience here? Depends on the case. I probably wouldn't if you're transitioning into a different market, especially if, for example, you have, I don't know, 15 years of experience in consulting, let's say, and you work for 2 years in a restaurant at the beginning of your career. I wouldn't put that there. Of course, I would put the consulting experience, but I wouldn't put the very irrelevant experience of working in a restaurant. Okay. But it is very important to have pretty much all your experience there, I would say. And one thing I will say about the experience is that you need to make it tangible. You need to essentially state results that you've achieved. Okay. For example, with Sequent which is a consulting firm that I founded last year in 2025, I basically state a lot of results that I got for my clients. Why? Because this tells the recruiter that I can do the job. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's consulting, it doesn't matter if it's tech, I can do the job and I can perform and I can give you results. Okay. That's essentially what recruiters want. They want you to be able to generate results for the company that you're going to start working in. And the most important thing, like I said, is to be super, super quantitative. You want to give values and numbers wherever possible. That is super important. Okay. Next thing I will say is very important is the licenses and certifications. I do believe licenses and certifications are becoming more and more important, especially as we are transitioning into this AI world. A lot of people say that they can use React or code in JavaScript or code in Python, but in reality, they just used AI to code for them. And if you want to prove that you know something, I believe a certification is extremely important. So all your certifications that you have, put them up in here because recruiters will be able to look at them as well. Okay. And last but not least, skills. Here, I would list all the skills that you've got. In my case, well, full stack development, JavaScript, I've got, like you see here, I've got 15 more skills in there. This is not capped. I believe you can add as many skills as you want. Obviously, add skills that are related to the field that you're into. For example, if you're in tech, okay, if you're a developer, I don't know, don't write that you can cook a burger, okay? It doesn't really make sense. So do that, and you should be all ready to go. That is all that I have on my LinkedIn profile and all the strategy that I have followed for the last 3 years to get me interviews. It is very simple. It's got nothing out of the norm. It's just very straightforward. It's just stating who you are, what you do, being active on the platform, and essentially showing people that you can do the job. And the next thing that I want to show you is the thing that I told you at the beginning of the video. It's a way of finding tech recruiters in a specific area, not necessarily on LinkedIn, but we're going to use Google Boolean search. This is called a Boolean search. Let me write it down right here because it is super important that you understand this concept because no one really talks about this. It is called Boolean search. Okay. And this essentially allows you to perform a search on Google for a specific site. In my case, I've used LinkedIn, of course, because LinkedIn is where we're going to find a lot of tech recruiters. And then between double quotes, you state the role that you are looking for. In my case, it's tech recruiters. and the location, in my case, the United States, for example, but you can write Canada, the USA, Australia, Germany, whatever. And then when you press enter, you get access to tons and tons and tons of recruiters, essentially. Okay. So, yeah, that is exactly what I wanted to show you. And remember that the Boolean search, the the Boolean search, what you need to do is state the site. Okay, linkedin.com/in. Then in between quotes, you want to state the role. I'm gonna write it like that, role. And then you want to state the location. All right. And if you do that and you paste it on the Google search bar, you will get access to a lot of recruiters. Okay. So, yeah, that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. I hope you have found some good value in this video. And if you did, just make sure you follow me, you smash that like button, and I'll keep uploading more videos like this to bring value to you. And hopefully, you land some interviews after this video. So, yeah, see you next time.